like sand. Sand is squishy. Mommy, can I go play with them?
Dory?
What's up, guys, and welcome back. And we're gonna be looking at Dory. She's entered the Mirrorverse, and we're gonna be breaking down her entire kit, what characters are gonna be good with her, and yes, the very big question that everybody has, is she gonna be good for the towers? So before we jump in, as always, guys, hit that sub button if you haven't already hit that sub button. Leave a comment below and let me know, are you excited about Dory and what characters are you gonna use her with? So let's just get into it. All right, so when it comes to Guardians, the first thing you really want to look at is traits. Where are they going to be used? And Dory's got a few good ones. We're going to start with medium. It's height. We're not using it anywhere. We're also have Pixar. So this month, to keep in mind, there is going to be Pixar event, so that may play some relevancy as we get into her breakdown. Next up is Goofball. Now, we've seen a lot of Goofball events coming around, so who knows? Maybe this is going to be a play factor. Maybe you'll want to use her over one of the other Goofballs. So now for the two traits that actually matter, the tower traits. She has high tech, and it is pretty nice that she has this tag, but let's be real, guys. She's not replacing Hero or Scrooge, so yeah, so it's just an added trait. Now, Seafaring, that's the one that I believe everybody's curious about. Can she dethrone Frank as the Seafaring support for the tower? And we'll see that in just a little bit when we get to the video, but let's go ahead and jump into her talents and how I'm actually loading her out. The three that I'm going to be using is Bubbly, which is her talent 1. Now, if we look at Bubbly, it's just going to give her more health. And when it comes to any of these healing guardians, the more health she has, the more her heals are going to be, and I believe this is going to be good for her. Great first impression is going to be pretty good. So every time she's hit for the first time in a battle, well, that character is going to get a focus debuff, pretty much breaking away some of those crit hits, which can be great survivability, and that's going to last for 15 seconds. Beyond that, this is also going to give Dory's special ability Allure to all ranged enemies. So just like we have Simba to take away all of our great melee and tank damage towards him, Dory's going to lure all of those ranged characters away, so this should help a lot of your battles as well. Lastly, can't quite remember,
I suffer from short-term memory loss.
Dory's going to resist 10% of damage from her ranged enemies. So just like Simba taking less damage, she's going to take less damage from those ranged fractured guardians. And every time she uses that special ability, she's going to gain a forgetful charge. That's going to help out with the cleansing of all those damaging debuffs. All right, so let's jump into a battle real quick. Let's see some of the animations around Dory, and let's talk about her abilities. So first up, we got short-term memory loss. When Dory is inflicted with a damaging debuff, she gains a forgetful charge. Forgetful charges are going to cleanse those damaging debuffs for all allies once it expires. Dory's also immune to focus buffs and focus debuffs, so remember that. Scrooge, not really going to be that helpful when it comes to Dory. And lastly, Dory's heavy attack is going to knock back all enemies in a wide arc in front of her, and again, this isn't going to affect bosses. Next up is Just Keep Swimming. All other allies heal for 2.5% each second for 6 seconds. So this is her special she's going to use, and it's going to heal up the board. Not only that, Dory is going to knock back all the enemies around her, really just giving her some space. She's also going to gain a second wind buff for 8 seconds. So during this time, she's going to take damage, but after, she's going to heal 80% of the damage she took while she was in the state. Now there is a caveat to this. It doesn't count the armor that she's losing, so this won't be until they actually reach her health, and it will heal that health that she's lost. And lastly is Fish Tank. Dory's going to gain 50% defense at the start of each encounter. Now again, this is really good because she is kind of playing that tank and support role, and this will keep her alive. As you increase the skill, this is also going to increase the second wind buff and increase her additional healing all the way up to 35% at max level. So with these guardians, we were able to get some special behind the scenes notes from these guys, and I'm going to share a few of them with you. These are going to come from Kabam Limerick, who is Dory's designer. So this is what Limerick had to say when it came to Dory. My intention was to create a support that is sturdy enough to operate as a backup tank, supporting your front line both by taking some of the heat off of them and by providing some healing. So like we said before, Dory does kind of play that tank role, and she does it okay. Now it is tanking the ranged characters a lot more than what we see with Simba, but it is helpful if you put her on the right team. So when it was asked of how you should actually pilot Dory, what was said is she should take a midfield position, and on AI she will do this automatically, but you want to make sure you're taking advantage of her wide heavy attack to make sure you're catching multiple foes, which is going to do that knockback that we read earlier. And now as we look at Dory, the question is, who pairs well with Dory? And so we want to start with our tanks first. You want to make sure with the support character, yes, she's kind of a tank, but you really want to put a tank with her that can improve her defense and things like that. So the first one I would bring up, yeah, it's going to be Baymax. Baymax is going to be really good by giving that defense buff and really going to help out. But if you don't have Baymax, maybe you have the better Baymax, and that's going to be Wally. Wally's just going to be an incredible tank because he is going to be increasing that defense, giving her survivability, especially when she's taking that damage from all the ranged characters as she does her lure. So now that we have the tanks figured out, the question is, what is your attack damage going to look like? And realistically, you want to do somebody who can do big crits. So like you saw, Dory's going to give you a lot of crit focus. And the first part you would look at is someone maybe like Aladdin. Aladdin really wants to take up those crits and do a lot of damage. If you're one of those people that really like to use ranged characters, there's going to be a lot of great choices for you. Judy Hopps is going to be really good. This is one of the ones Kabam Limerick suggested along with Aladdin. But honestly, if I'm going to go this route, I'm going to be going with my man Gaston. Gaston having those crits is going to be awesome. But if I'm going to take it up a step even further, it's going to be Zerg. Guys, Zerg is incredible in this game. And now if you're giving him even more focus and bringing all that range damage off of him, he's going to be a monster to deal with. So if I'm looking at this, somebody like Dory plus Wally plus Zerg is going to be pretty good in the high-tech tower and going to give you a lot of survivability. All right, guys. So with all that information that we just went through, the question is Dory going to be able to replace Frank in the Seafaring Tower? And honestly, guys, I don't think so. I think we're just stuck with Frank until maybe, hopefully, we get another one.
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dory, no singing.
Now, the thing is, I believe Dory is a good character. Maybe not great, maybe not A tier or anything like that, but she's very situational. She's gonna help you when you're going through events with, you know, ranged guardians that are very difficult to overcome. Think of characters like Maleficent or maybe Gaston. That's, I believe, where she's going to shine. So if you were to ask me if I'm going to invest in her, of course I'm going to invest in her. We got to get videos out and things like that. But for the typical average player, I really don't think Dory's the one you want to invest in. Now, I'll have the Violet video out a little bit later this weekend, so you guys can get my review on her. For the most part, I would say if you get lucky and you get Dory, sure, she's a great support character. Like we said before, you've got so many great support characters in this game. It's very hard to invest in a character that you're probably not going to use in one of the towers. So for the most part, you have a couple other supports that are a little bit better. You have Hero and Mickey, and who knows, we may get Jack Skellington pretty easy. If you didn't watch that last video, definitely check it out with a recap from the interview with Lyra. So overall, I think she's a very interesting character, a very situational character. I'm pretty excited to see where she's actually going to be on the tier list. Now, the tier list is going to be dropping on Monday, and you'll get to see where I'm going to place Dory and Violet, along with any shakeups we might have gotten. But as always, guys, make sure hit that follow button, that subscribe button below, leave a comment. Let me know if you guys are going to go after Dory. Are you more excited about Dory or Violet? And yeah, just let me know. And with that, guys, y'all take it easy.